Alright, so here we're talking about ratios or rates. Um, some things you'll hear them called rates, sometimes you'll hear them called ratios. But anyways, so what we're doing here is we're trying to figure out, in the first problem, if Alta drove 78 miles and used 3 gallons of gas, then what is the car's gas mileage in miles per gallon? So you might wonder, well, what is this important for? Well, if you were planning a trip and you know that you need to travel 78 miles, you would need to know how much gas you was going to take to get there, how much you would get back to get back, right? So you'd have to know how much money and gas you would need. Or if you were looking for a vehicle, you know, you might look at a truck and it says, well, you get 10 miles to a gallon. Well, that means basically every time you go to Walmart, it's going to use a gallon of gas. So, you know, otherwise you might get a hybrid car that gets 45 miles to a gallon. So, if you were, say, it was 20 miles to Walmart and back from your house, well, that's 2 gallons of gas. So, roughly, you're looking at about $6.50 right now to go to Walmart in that truck. Well, if you were in a hybrid car that gave you 40 miles to a gallon, then that means that you could go to Walmart and back twice on $3, like $3.25. Or, it's going to take roughly, um, like $1 and say 60 cents to go to Walmart, and it's that hybrid car where it's going to cost you $6.50 to go in that truck. And if you're on a budget, if you don't have a whole lot of money, you're going to want to know that mileage and that difference. Okay, so let's get to this. So here we say 78 miles. So we're going to make this into a fraction, 78 over 3, because we're going how many we had over how many there was that was used of the gallons of gas. Okay, so then if we take our calculator and we say 78 divided by 3, that gives us 26. So her car gets 26 miles to a gallon. Alright, now we have a situation where it's saying Joe is he's looking at 2 different boxes of cereal. One is a 12-ounce box, which is $2.54, and the other is an 18-ounce box, which is $3.50. So, will it save Joe money if he buys the 18-ounce box? Is that a better deal than the 12-ounce? Well, the way you find that out is you're going to put this into a ratio. So, you're going to say $2.54 divided by how many ounces is in a box. Divide the price by that. Turn it into a fraction. So 2.54 divided by 12 tells us that gives us a big number. We're going to round it to the hundredth place, right? So the second decimal place. So if we look to the one behind it, that's going to become 0.21 or 21 hundredths or 21 cents. So it's 21 cents for every ounce, right? Now, if we were looking at it being 18-ounce box for $3.50, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say $3.50 over 18, or $3.50 divided by 18. Now, one thing you want to make sure when you're doing these is that you do put that decimal in there if it's talking about money. Because I'll show you. If we say $3.50 divided by 18, that means that every ounce in that box is going to cost would be roughly $19. Well, the whole box doesn't cost for $3.50, so you know it's not going to be $19 an ounce. So you want to make sure that you put in that decimal, which is going to give you this as a decimal point, and when you round it, 4 is not enough to go up, so it's 19 cents. So there's a big difference in $19 and 19 cents. Okay, so the 18-ounce box is 19 cents. And then if you compare the two, which one gives you the better deal? Which one is cheaper? Well, obviously, it's the 18-ounce box. Okay? Now, let's look at some more problems over here. So here it says you get 18 people into 3 vans. So how many people can go into each one? So we would say 18 over 3. And you can do this with a calculator, but if you said 3 into 18, if you know your times tables, you know that that's going to be 6. So you can get 6 people in each van. Alright, let's look at the next one. 115 miles in 2 hours. So how many miles did they travel per hour? Or it would basically be what this one was asking. So if we said 115 divided by 2, 115 divided by 2 is 57.5, or 57.5 miles. So they were actually able to travel 57.5 miles in 1 hour. Okay, here we got 65 miles and 2.7 gallons. So this one's another one where they're trying to figure out what would be the price per gallon. So if they said 65 and they divided that by 2.7, or 2 7/10, so 65 divided by 2.7 gives us a decimal. And remember, we're going to round these to the hundreds. So 24.07. Here, so they could travel 24.7, which basically, if you were looking at that, you would usually think that they could go 24 miles a gallon. So that's about what their vehicle is getting. So here we have 156 over 3. So 156 over 3 is our ratio. And we're trying to figure out what this would be. So 156 divided by 3 is 52. So it was $156 for 3 books. So how much was each book? Well, each book was $52. Remember, anytime you have a dollar sign up here, you want to make sure you put that dollar sign in your answer. Alright, so let's look down here at some of these at the bottom. So this one is talking about two prices, right? Which one is giving you the better deal? 3 pounds for $12.95 or 5 pounds for $21.48. So I have a lot of room here, so I'm just going to write that under that. $12.95 divided by 3, because there's 3 pounds, or 5. So let's see which one gives us the better deal. So here we have $12.95. Again, remember that decimal point, divided by 3. If we round it, would give us $4.32. Okay, and if we check this price, you've got $21.45 divided by 5 is going to be $4.29. Okay, so which one would be giving us the better deal? So the bigger quality here is giving us the better deal. Okay, so that's how you would do these types of problems to find out what the rate is.